Okay, guys. I'm just going to try and record a little video with this with my Doomsday deck. Going to see how it goes. This is the list. We're running 15 lands, 8 fetches. We've got 2 Myers, 2 Tarns, 4 Deltas. We've got a Swamp, 2 Islands, 2 Seas, 1 Badlands, 1 Vault. Pardon me. We've got, of course, 4 LEDs, 4 Dark Rituals. We've got the full 4 Lotus Petals and Arena Filth, which I more than a lot of others play. Just the 13th one I just really like. Empty the Warrens at the current time, but obviously it's not a main deckable card. But I want to try and make it as good as possible even in the game ones. So I think having Petal, the 4th Petal makes that at least a viable strategy, and the Rain of Filth means that I can kind of have some long game if I need to try and play against some other grindier decks, and just good against Port, Wasteland, that kind of thing. Of course, 4 Probes, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder. Goes without saying. I'm running the 3 Baubles because I've been running this main deck Tendrils. I've been practicing a fair bit more with after seeing Doishi's got it in his list and playing against him down in Cardiff. Really impressed by the multiple Baubles and the main deck Tendrils. So I've been trying that out. Really liking it. So we've got the Hand Disruption Suite, 1 Thoughtseize, 3 Duress, 3 Therapy. So pretty all-round kind of stuff. Answers a lot of anything. Of course, Labman, Act and Impulse, 3 Doomsdays, 4 Wishes, pretty stock. All in all, I don't think it's that much of a revolutionary list. Maybe the fact that there's no preordains is a little bit incorrect because only 15 cantrip effects might be a little shy of where we're wanting to go. But I'm quite a fan of this list at the moment. This is what I've been practicing the past few weeks. Sideboard, how that looks. We've got 2 Empty the Warrens as wish targets. It's great at the moment. Don't leave home without them. One of them regularly gets sided in against many decks. Of course, Tendrils, main win con from the board. Doomsday, the 7th Doomsday with the Burning Wishes. Act and Impulse, so we can, of course, a wish target. Kill by force, obviously for Chalice decks, and all sorts like that. It's just a sick card. Love it. Because I don't understand. Like, I've seen other people arguing that they've been trimming it. I think that's results oriented thinking, that you just haven't been seeing enough. You haven't been seeing many Chalice decks because, well, at least I'm going to be heading to the GP Birmingham, and I don't want to rely just on Hercule's Recall. If sideboarding them in against like game 2, I want to have some main deckable answer to be able to hit Chalices / Trinispheres / Spheres, and by force is a fantastic way to do that. Massacre, of course. Cabal Therapy is my choice for the board Hand Destruction spell. Then I don't like the green version. Currently running the Sheldon Alchemical package off the board. We know what it's good against. Slow control decks where you can just jam the combo turn 1, turn 2 for Doomsday. Set up a pile. It's bad against Wasteland, bad against Caracas, bad against Stifle effects, but it's still fine, and I like it. I think it's good enough in the current meta where it's worth the 2 slots over the land and the Xantid Swarms, because especially if like your opponent sees the land ban, siding in the Xantid Swarms, they're likely going to retain some removal in the deck, and if they do, then they're going to keep it in. They're going to kill the Xantid Swarms, and they're probably going to have enough. And then if you're going to try and go off through permission, it's going to be hard. EE, similar thing to Massacre, where it's kind of like a in between for Massacres and Byforce, where it can kill tons of sphere effects. It can kill dorks on the ground. It's an artifact, so I can play it into I can Dark Ritual E into a canonist. If they play like a turn 2 canonist, I need to clear the board. Surgical against other combo decks, good for the mirror, and you know, Reanimate is a massive strategy on Modo compared to online. Compared to paper, I mean, it's still pretty popular in paper, especially in the UK from what I've seen, from going down to other GPs, like when I went to London earlier. Echoing Truth, just the one. I was thinking about, for these 3 bounce spells, having a Chain of Vapor instead of the second recall, but I would much rather the consistency of having a recall and the blowout potential of just end of turn recall all your stuff, rather than only being able to get 1 permanent, and also it doesn't get through a chalice on 1, which is a huge part of what recall is good for, in my opinion. Echoing Truth, good for goblins, good for against turbo depths, etc., etc. But that's pretty much the list. Pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. If you're used a tool to Doomsday, let's just jump in a 1v1 queue. That's my kind of 1.3 version. Let's play a game. We'll play 20 minutes. Submit. Where's my phone? Oh, I need just a second. I'm just going to charge my phone up. Come on. So if we can talk any more thoughts about the deck, maybe, whilst we're waiting. Things I'm not happy with the deck. I side out Rain of Filth a lot. And I found a lot of the time I do want that 16th cantrip. Especially one which filters the draws. Like, it might be incorrect actually to play that Rain of Filth over one Preordain or something. Especially since Preordain's really good against a surgical Doomsday pile. Really good against that, especially if you're doing like a double cantrip one, because it means you can have perfect information whilst digging into your deck after. Like if you're casting if you go Preordain, bottom, Brainstorm, you know the exact order of your entire deck. And you can usually, especially with some specific draws, you can get 100% kill from that pile. So like, it is a point of contention at the moment for me. Yeah. I was also thinking this sideboard Cabal Therapy. For a while, I had got those two swapped, but I don't think that's the right move. I'm wishing for a therapy. Just feels so much better sometimes. Surgical, I am a little on the fence about. I'll be honest. Well, that's a thing I'm not 100% sure about with this deck. If I want to play surgical, might it just be better to play, I don't know, a Relic of Progenitus, since probably not Relic actually in hindsight. It's a stupid thing to say. Might it have just been better to play? What other? If there's an artifact graveyard, a Tormod's Crypt, because I can Hercules recall it back to my hand for an extra storm. It's a 0-drop artifact. That's a legit argument. Doesn't hit myself as well, although Graveyard Hate's of course pretty not great against us because We're not a particularly graveyard heavy oriented Storm deck, despite me trying to use the baubles. You know what? It can be a bit annoying if I'm trying to bauble tons of stuff. Again and again and again. Let's have a look. Let's think. Echoing Truth. It's fine. Yeah, I want to keep the Echoing Truth. I mean, just having just the one sideboard answer to a Marat Large is a little bit painful. Like against Turbo Depths, I'm not gonna lie. They're regularly swinging with a 20/20 on turn 3. So having one as a 2-drop can be a little bit painful. Like that would be a place where the Chain of Vapor obviously would be more useful. Then this Hercule's Recall. I still don't think that's enough of an argument to condone that. You don't condone changing it. For my fetch split for these 8, I like it. Being able to fit in general, I find I'm able to access my basics just as much as I would like. Yeah, I can. All of them fetch every land in the deck, obviously, but there's like these 2 Tarns and 4 Deltas mean that, and I think the 2 extra basic island as well within the deck mean that I can more easily find that basic blue source, even if my number of fetchable ones for it is different. Like I'd much more happily use a Delta to get an island than I would a Delta to get a swamp. But I think that's fairly obvious kind of play style. As it comes to play style, I probably cantrip a bit too aggressively with this deck. I think you could quite easily make that argument if you watch me play. Come on. Fuck the bishop. This is taking a while. I think we might just pause this here. See if we can get back to it. $30 play points if I win this. Oosh. That's something I always find a little weird. Like on MTGO, both players put in 20 play points, right? Obviously, for a 1v1 queue. But like the payout is only 35 instead of the full 40 that gets put in. And like I get that Wizards kind of needs to retain some value within the system of the credits and shit. So like not everyone has just a bajillion. They've got to have a way of draining the market of them, because credits can only be spent on playing matches. But still feels a little weird to me that they do that. Also, let's give you a look at this Magus Cannon deck that I've been playing. One of the silliest fun decks I've played in quite a while. It's just a Tin Fins deck basically, which has been built around Magus of the Mind. So, you know what? Shallow Grave is a reanimate, doesn't target, instead it takes the top card of the library, top creature card of the graveyard, puts into play, has haste. So that means you can activate its ability the turn it comes in. We've got Corpse Dance, which is similar, 1 mana more, but it has buyback if you want to spend 5 on it. Sometimes it's pretty good. Only running 2 of those, so running 6 of these effects. 4 Entombs makes sense. Lotus Petal gives us a bit of explosiveness, along with Chrome Mox. It's a permanent mana source. It's acceleration. It's card disadvantage, but when we're combo decks, so we're not as worried about that if we're just killing them. You know, we've only got the 4 hand disruption spells with 1 therapy, 3 duress. I think that's correct. Like, we don't have any main deck probes, so the therapy is much more. It's funnily enough just a blind name force of will kind of thing, just so we can make sure we kill them. Or, I mean, I've regularly, after having a free spell off this Magus of the Mind, cast an Infernal Tutor from it, put another Magus of the Will into my hand, therapied myself, discard it, or I can therapy the opponent, cast a free one of these, which I exile from it, from the Magus of the Mind, and then I can sack it from that, so I can reanimate it with one of these. Like, it's got a surprising bit of versatility to trying to move around the game state. I don't think it's bad. Oh my goodness. It's like, Entomb targets include Past and Flames as well, because sometimes you just want to just kill them in a normal ad nauseum tendril style, and that works just fine. We've got enough action in the deck to be able to do that. 2 main deck tendrils gives us a bit of reach. It might be correct that one of these is in the board and have this Mastermind's Acquisition, but that's pretty expensive mana-wise. Granted, when we go off, if we're going off huge, we don't really care about the mana constraints, because we can get an absurd amount, an absolutely absurd amount. As the sideboard goes, there's kind of 2 main strategies for this sideboard. There's either bypassing Graveyard Hate with an ad nauseum package, where we're siding in that, and those 2. We're siding in those 7. That's the typical package for that. And that will usually take out one of the Corpse Dancers, the Past and Flames, and Magus. One of the petals for that Chrome Mox as well. We're just and 2 of the ponders for those 2 pros. We're just trimming down the deck, trying to make it more efficient. Empty the Warrens. We usually end the Mastermind's Acquisition. Empty the Warrens, good, especially post board when they're bringing in Storm Hate, because it's a low resource card. Go off pretty early against like Delver decks when we've got stuff we can do. I don't know what I'm saying really. Remember, we've got Mastermind's Acquisition main board. Yeah, it normally comes sided out quite regularly, because it's one of the weaker cards in the deck, but I like it. It's fun. It's a bit of spice for the deck, along with the Jet Medallion. Jet Medallion's normally pretty good when I'm siding this in, because it's just means we can quite easily ad nauseum turn 3. Really, just hard cast ad nauseum turn 3, and it's pretty easy to do. With like you can do it with 1 ritual. Hell, it turns if you have Cabal Ritual, is just insane if you cast them for just a black. Silent Gravestones, good for against Delver decks, against reanimated decks. Urkel's Recall, against obvious strategies like Chalice decks and all of that malarkey. Probably brings in against D&T along with that Massacre. Just Urkel's Recall's good. There's just a lot of annoying artifacts you don't want to have to play against. Defense Grid, mostly good for against slower control decks. Miracles, Bug, Grixis, that kind of malarkey. Chain of Vapor sometimes comes in. I think it's pretty. I don't even know when I bring it. Just sometimes when it feels right, I guess. When I feel when there's room to cut. I really need to make a sideboard plan for this, to be honest. It's kind of haphazard. There's 3 main sideboard strategies. Like if I'm not going for that because they're obviously going to be playing Graveyard Hate, we're not the best ad nauseam deck. We're playing 6-drops. Like like you don't want to be flipping a card which immediately takes away a quarter of your life. So that like over a quarter of your life. So of course it's not great, especially when we're only playing after bringing it in what 32 no 20 23 22 23 0 cost mana effects. Could be better. So yeah, if we don't need to do that, it's fine if we don't. Like this is mostly for against strategies which are going to be just full on heavy graveyard destruction, rather than like something that Silent Gravestone can bypass, like a Surgical or like a holy shit, finally. But yeah, we would. Or Deathrite Shaman or any of that kind of stuff. I'll keep this hand. Hand seems fine. Play Delta. I don't want to fire off any of this. I can turn 1 Therapy, but I think that like just blind naming Therapy seems pretty loose. Like Catacombs, Bayou, Elves, Deathlight. Okay. Petal. Okay. I could fetch. I think I'll fetch an Underground Seeker. What's going to kill me most? I think I want to name Natural Order on this Therapy. Come on. Sorry, my computer kind of sometimes just crashes when I Therapy. Natural Order. Whoa, what the hell? There we go. Oh, I completely misjudged it. Double Hex Mage, Crop Rotation, Bayou. Okay, we're getting Marat Lage next turn. If this... if I can obviously Doomsday this turn. I can Burning Wish for Doomsday, cast it next turn. 2 mana available. I'd need to hit either a cantrip or an LED to kill him. Or I can Petal 4, 5, no, 4. I think I pass here. I'm probably incorrect in doing that, but we'll see. I feel like I need to brainstorm here, to try and brainstorm aggressively, which is right. Okay, Reign of Filth is just what the Doctor ordered. Actually, if I petal duress them, take that crop rotation now. That is wonderful. There. Petal. Right, so the hand is currently Dark Confidant, Bayou, Hexmage, Forest, Hexmage. Played the Bayou. Shot. Come on, man. Just slam the bob. Pass. Just do it. Easy. Okay, death right, perfect. And bob. Hexmage, fine. Badlands. Burning Wish Doomsday pass the turn pile here. Brainstorm, Labman, LED, Act on Impulse. Provided he doesn't top deck a, my opponent doesn't top deck a hand disruption spell, he's dead next to him. And he doesn't have enough damage there. I take 6 off those. Last card is irrelevant. We will make it a main deck tendrils. Done. There. Okay. God, I hate this matchup. Sylvan Scrying, sure. Dark Depths, yeah, of course. No problem. They could only 2 me with that. Alright, we got this. Okay. Shot. Black. What? Ping me. Exile the Doomsday, maybe. Shot. Shot. Attack me to 4. Yeah. Okay. Black. Rain of Filth. Red. black, act. LED for blue, lab man. Brainstorm. Cool. Game 2. Echoing Truth. Hercule's Recall. I think because they do have those sort of hate cards in their deck. True on the Duress. I think I'll only trim one Duress. And I think I'll trim a Bauble. Let's roll. Sweet. I assume my opponent plays first. Yeah, expected. Cool. So don't hand disrupt me and they're dead. Nice. Cool. Okay. Sure. Underground Sea. Petal. Petal. LED. Black, black, black. Doomsday. Are we going to have a copious storm count? No need to worry. We'll just go for the standard LED Burning Wish. Act and Impulse. Tendrils. Unnecessary 5th card. Snag Tendrils. Burning Wish. LED. Control. Retain priority, sacrifice for blue. It feels like a mind blow track. I'm going to be so salty. Okay, we're fine. Sack for black. Sack for red. Burning Wish. Yes. How many drills? Well, you've got to have at least 10 drills. Okay, now, actually my storm was, I really should have counted that because my storm was lower than I thought it would be. Exactly. Ooh, that was a close one. That could have gone poorly. Ooh. All right, nice one. Easy game.